The roar of motorcycle engines filled the night when a small, trembling voice cut through the noise like a blade. "Can you hide me from my daddy?" Every engine stopped. 12 members of the Devil's Outcasts motorcycle club turned toward the sound. Standing at the entrance of their dimly lit garage was a little girl, no older than 6, clutching a pink backpack almost as big as she was. It was 2 a.m. Their compound was miles from civilization, surrounded by empty desert roads and steel fences. Nobody just walked in here. But somehow this tiny girl had. Razor, the club's president, a man whose scarred face had scared grown men, stepped forward slowly. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "Emma," she whispered. "Emma Rodriguez." Her voice shook, but her eyes didn't flinch. "My daddy's coming to get me," she added, "and I don't want to go." Chains, the club's enforcer, knelt beside her. "Where's your mommy, kiddo?" Emma's eyes glistened. "Mommy's sleeping in heaven with the angels. Daddy said so. But I think Daddy made her go to sleep. There was red stuff on her head before she went away." The garage went silent. Every man there had seen violence, but hearing it from a child froze him to the bone. Razor knelt so his eyes met hers. "How'd you get here, Emma?" She held up her backpack. "I followed the white line on the highway all night. Mommy showed me once. Said if something really bad ever happened, I should find the scary-looking people who fight monsters. She said they'd keep me safe." Razor's jaw tightened. "You found them," he said softly. Emma opened her backpack and began pulling things out with trembling hands. "I brought snacks and Mommy's phone." Then she hesitated. "And something else." She reached inside and held up a kitchen knife, its blade dried with dark, crusted blood. "My daddy was hurting Mommy with this," she said quietly. "Mommy told me if something bad ever happened, I should take evidence. Is this evidence?" The bikers exchanged uneasy glances. Before anyone could answer, Emma pulled out more items, a small digital camera and a Hello Kitty keychain holding a tiny flash drive. "Mommy said the police wouldn't believe us unless we had lots and lots of proof. She said Daddy was good at pretending to be nice." Emma turned on the camera, scrolling through photos. The first showed a woman with a black eye. The second, bruises. By the 5th, the bikers looked away. There were 47 pictures in total, each one darker than the last. Razor's voice dropped low. "Where's your daddy now?" Emma's lips quivered. "He went to meet his friends, the ones with fast cars and guns. He said when he gets back, we're going on a long trip where nobody will find us. But I don't want to go. He scares me. And he made Mommy go to sleep forever." Then headlights pierced the night. Engines growled in the distance, getting closer. Emma froze. That's Daddy's friends. 3 black cars screeched to a stop outside the garage. Emma ran behind Razor. "Please don't let them take me," she begged. A man stumbled from the lead car, tall, drunk, furious, waving a pistol. 2 more men followed, silent, cold, and deadly. "Emma," the man screamed, "you took something that doesn't belong to you." The bikers spread out instantly, forming a line between the child and the intruders. "Sir, you need to calm down," Razor said evenly. "Don't tell me what to do," the man roared. "That flash drive has everything. Our operation, money transfers, names. Give it back, or everyone here dies." One of the cartel men lifted his gun. No witnesses. Emma peeked out from behind Razor, her small hands clenched. "You hurt Mommy," she said, her voice steadying. "You made her go to sleep forever. And now the police will know all the bad things you do." Her father's face twisted with rage. "You cost us everything. I should have gotten rid of you when I had the chance." He never finished the sentence. What followed lasted 90 seconds. The Outcasts moved like a storm, fast, brutal, precise. When it was over, all 3 men were zip-tied on the floor, unconscious. Emma quietly stepped forward and picked up one of the guns by its handle. "This goes to the police, too," she said softly. "More evidence." Razor looked at the little girl, who'd walked through hell and still stood tall. "Yeah, sweetheart," he said, "it's over now." But it wasn't. 20 minutes later, police sirens echoed through the desert. Emma's father and his associates were arrested, charged with murder, child endangerment, kidnapping, and running a criminal organization. The flash drive contained 3 years of cartel records. When the dust settled, one question remained. Where would Emma go now? She's got an aunt in California, the social worker said. But with the cartel ties, it's risky. She's staying with us, Razor announced. The social worker, Margaret Stevens, a strict woman in her 50s, folded her arms. Mr. Rodriguez, you're the president of an outlaw motorcycle club. The state will never approve this. Razor crossed his arms. Then the state's got a problem, because she chose us, and we're not giving her up. And so began one of the strangest custody battles in state history. For the next 3 weeks, Emma refused to leave the clubhouse. She slept in the meeting room surrounded by 12 ex-convicts who'd faced every kind of fight, but none like this. On the 4th day, Snake found her sitting beside his Harley, crying quietly. "What's wrong, little warrior?" he asked. "I miss Mommy," Emma whispered, "and I'm scared the bad dreams are going to come back." Snake looked helpless for a moment, then remembered something his grandmother used to say. "When I was your age, my granny told me when you miss someone in heaven, you talk to them out loud, so they can hear you." "Really?" Emma asked. "Really. And the best place to do it is somewhere that makes you feel safe, like right here with all your uncles around." She nodded, then looked up toward the rafters. "Hi, Mommy. I'm okay now. The scary men took care of the bad man, just like you said they would. And they're teaching me to be brave, like you were." There wasn't a dry eye in the garage. That night, Emma woke screaming. Chains, the enforcer with teardrop tattoos, rushed in and sat beside her. "You're safe, little warrior," he said softly. "But what if the monsters come back?" Chains smiled faintly. "Sweetheart, the monsters are scared of us. And we're the biggest monsters in this whole state. They'll never touch you again." Emma sniffled. "Promise?" "I promise. You call Uncle Chains anytime, and I'll come running. That's what family does." That moment changed everything. The Devil's Outcasts didn't just protect Emma. They changed for her. Within a week, their clubhouse looked less like a biker fort and more like a home. A child-sized bed appeared in the corner of the meeting room, surrounded by 12 sleeping bags. Because every night, one of the men insisted on keeping watch. The bar fridge now held juice boxes next to beer, and the walls that once displayed wanted posters were covered with crayon drawings of motorcycles and hearts labeled "My Family." The first real test came 2 weeks later, when Emma fell sick with a fever. 12 hardened bikers panicked like new parents. "She's burning up," Snake shouted. "Should we take her to the hospital?" Tank asked. "It's just a fever," muttered Doc, who wasn't really a doctor, just good at fixing wounds. Razor's voice cut through the chaos. "I don't want guesses. I want her safe." They stayed up all night in shifts. Chains read her stories in his gravelly voice. Snake brought ice chips. Demon hummed lullabies. Razor sat beside her, silent, watching her chest rise and fall like it was the most important thing in the world. When the fever finally broke, Emma blinked her eyes open to see 12 bikers asleep in chairs around her bed, coffee cups and medicine bottles everywhere. "You all stayed with me?" she asked weakly. "Course we did, sweetheart," Razor said, smiling for first time in years. "That's what daddies and uncles do." Margaret Stevens, the social worker, watched their transformation closely. She'd seen tough men cry before, but never like this. These weren't thugs anymore. They were learning to braid hair, check homework, and sing bedtime songs. But not everyone believed in miracles. 3 months later, Margaret arrived unannounced for a welfare inspection. She found the entire club gathered around the table helping Emma with a school project titled "What Makes a Family Special?" "Protection," Chain said immediately. "Love," added Snake, surprising even himself. "Being there when someone needs you," Tank offered. "Teaching right from wrong," said Demon. Emma carefully wrote down every word. Then she turned to Razor. "What about you, Daddy Razor?" Razor looked around at his brothers, these broken men who had built something new. "A family," he said slowly, "is when a bunch of broken people decide they're stronger together, and they'll do anything to keep each other safe." Margaret stood there, arms crossed, trying not to cry. Still, the law was the law. 6 weeks later, they all found themselves in family court. The state's attorney argued first. Your Honor, these men are dangerous criminals. They belong to an outlaw motorcycle club known for violence. This child needs proper guardians, not men who solve problems with their fists. Razor's lawyer countered. These men risked their lives to save this little girl. They've given her love, security, and a family for the first time in her life. Judge Patricia Williams, stern and sharp-eyed, looked down from the bench. Emma, do you understand what's happening today? Yes, ma'am. Emma stood up, clutching her pink backpack. Some people think my new family is too scary to take care of me. But they don't understand that sometimes the scariest-looking people have the biggest hearts. The courtroom went silent. And you want to stay with Mr. Rodriguez? The judge asked. He's my daddy now, Emma said simply. And all my uncles protect me. They keep the monsters away. Judge Williams studied the file. Pages of glowing reports from teachers, doctors, even the local sheriff. Emma's grades had improved. Her nightmares had nearly stopped. She was thriving. But it was Emma's final words that sealed the decision. Your Honor, she said softly, I started a club at home. It's called Little Warriors. It's for kids like me who've seen bad things. We meet every Saturday, and I teach them what Mommy taught me. How to be brave, how to take pictures when grown-ups are mean, and how to find safe people who'll protect you. The judge turned to Margaret Stevens. What's your recommendation? Margaret hesitated, her voice trembling with emotion. Your Honor, in 30 years of social work, I've never seen a child heal this completely. These men have done the impossible. They've created a loving, stable home that understands the darkness she's lived through. Emma doesn't just feel safe. She feels empowered. My recommendation is permanent custody to Mr. Rodriguez. The gavel came down. Custody granted. The courtroom erupted. 12 bikers roared in triumph, hugging each other and wiping away tears. Emma ran straight into Razor's arms and whispered, I love you, Daddy. Even the judge smiled. That night, the Devils outcast through the biggest celebration in their history. But it wasn't about victory over the system. It was about redemption, because somewhere along the way, the monsters had become protectors. Emma still kept her pink backpack. Only now, it carried coloring books, crayons, emergency contact cards for other kids, and a disposable camera just in case another child needed to gather evidence. She brought it to school every day, ready to help anyone who needed what she once needed herself. A year later, Little Warriors had grown to 32 children. The Outcasts, once feared across 3 counties, now ran background checks on abusive parents, escorted children to court hearings, and worked with local police on domestic violence cases. Their protection rate was 100%. Even law enforcement learned to call them when traditional methods failed. Emma, now 10, still dreams of becoming a police officer. She calls Razor Daddy and has 11 uncles who would die for her without hesitation. Every year, on the anniversary of the night she walked into their garage, they hold a small gathering, not to remember what they did for her, but what she did for them. Because Emma taught 12 outlaws that redemption isn't about forgetting your past. It's about using it to protect others. She taught them that the most broken people can become the best guardians. That family isn't about blood or clean records. It's about who shows up when the monsters come. Today, the flash drive that saved Emma's life sits in an FBI evidence locker, its data having dismantled an entire cartel network. The photograph her mother took are used in police training to teach officers how to recognize domestic abuse patterns. And Emma's pink backpack still goes everywhere she does. Because some battles require preparation, some journeys need snacks, and some little girls carry the courage to change the world. Sparkles if the story touched your heart. Remember what Emma said. Even scary-looking people can have the biggest hearts.